Today we are here to launch free Wi-Fi service for all of our residents, all of the visitors of this gorgeous facility, this gorgeous natural resource, town of Oyster Bay's Tow Bay Beach. Joseph Saladino. I'm the supervisor of the town of Oyster Bay. The town of Oyster Bay is the third largest town in America, and we have a wonderful and diversified population consisting of so many good people, including from South Asia. And we have continued to have a wonderful and growing relationship so that everyone has a seat at the table. You need this, and it's free for you, our residents. And why? Because we're creating what we promised, a brand new day in the town of Oyster Bay.
Such a pleasure and honor to be sitting with someone who is dedicated, committed, and passionately looking forward to his role again as supervisor of Oyster Township. Oyster Bay. So tell me a little bit about Oyster Bay as we try and learn more about your relationship with members of this community.
Well, the town of Oyster Bay is located on the eastern side of Nassau County, right on the Nassau-Suffolk line. It's part of Nassau County, and as I mentioned, it's the third largest township in America, consisting of approximately 300,000 residents. We have a large South Asian and Southeastern Asian population in places like Hicksville and Plainview and Jericho, and we look forward to another term of 2 years. I became the supervisor brand new in February of this year, 2017. And in that time, we've done so many good things to improve upon the town of Oyster Bay. But what is especially exciting is that we have a grant that we received from New York State for $10 million. Wow. $10 million to spend in downtown Hicksville, so that it will be a better town, a flourishing town with a brand new railroad station and more parking and great opportunities for business and jobs. And we're hoping people will move here to the town of Oyster Bay. Today is all about making sure that we continue to beautify the town of Oyster Bay and protect our environment while saving money for hard-pressed taxpayers. Over the course of last year, the town has partnered with Cornell Cooperative Extension of Nassau County on a very significant reforestation effort here in the South Shore communities, particularly in Massapequa, where we are very much aimed at reversing the damage done by the Asian longhorn beetle infestation in the 1990s, as well as all the trees that were killed and knocked down through Hurricane Sandy.
Talking about $10 million new, which is being engaged in creating infrastructure and other facilities for the citizens. And just before you came, and some people who remember that details, so there is a reference of political corruption that has been a part of our lives. And now that you have been there, what extra approach in terms of measures adopted or anything so that you end up not finding someone repeating what has happened before you?
So the first thing we did to clean up the corruption is that we fired 14 people associated with the folks who got in trouble. So in total, 24 people are no longer working with the town. Then we put in a former federal prosecutor to work as our town attorney. This person received commendations from both President Bush and President Clinton, and he's very, very talented. We created a new ethics board so that we installed sweeping ethics reforms. The ethics board members are watching over, helping me to watch over the town. Everyone in the town now has to fill out financial disclosure forms so that we see where all the money goes. Multiple eyes on every check that comes in and goes out so that we're ensuring that that the town is being run honestly. So we've reduced the town workforce. We have brought in the sweeping ethics changes. We have created now an inspector general to make sure that no hanky-panky or shenanigans are going on. And we have ensured that we have top people in every department who understands the ethics, and we mandated ethics training, and the elected officials went first. So we have lots of ways in which we're ensuring that corruption we've turned the chapter on corruption now, and I will not allow any other corruption. I have zero tolerance for corruption, and we're not going to allow it in our town. And we've put in place the implementations of the methodology, the methods to put an end to any problems in our town.
It is such a delight to be talking to someone who is so clear about his objectives, as well as is clear about how to go about implementing such wonderful ideas. When we talk about Joseph, the politician, in terms of his formulative years, who would you like to give credit for?
That's a wonderful question. First of all, my mother and father. My father was a judge, and he was in the United States Marines, and he was a town of Oyster Bay councilman. So I'm following in his footsteps to ensure that our town is run properly, efficiently, so that we have the lowest costs. We just reduced the taxes, the property taxes that the town of Oyster Bay is involved in. We reduced property taxes by $1.3 million. Very, very proud of that. So my father has had a tremendous influence on me. He passed away in 2000, but I feel like I am continuing. You know, we think of our religion, how we pray for opportunities, pray for guidance. We pray for strength and wisdom. And I feel my prayers have been answered, and I have these things now, which is the right way to govern, honestly, with integrity, with respect for all of our friends. And as I stated earlier, we're working to make a bigger seat at the table for all of our friends from India, from South Asia, South Korea, and obviously with Sikhs and Hindus, growing population here in the town of Oyster Bay. And I'm very excited about that. It's great news, especially as we redevelop Hicksville and we provide for good homes for people, jobs, the ability to walk from home to the railroad station. It's really turning into a mecca here in Hicksville, here in the town of Oyster Bay, in Plainview, and Jericho, all of our communities. We have wonderful parks, beaches, great facilities. Our parks are listed in the top 10 parks in the United States. So we will continue to make sure that we have the best of services, that everyone is welcome in the town of Oyster Bay, and that we continue to cut taxes so that we're incrementally bringing taxes down year by year. Through the recent partnership with Cornell Cooperative Extension, the town has been the proud beneficiary of the fruits of grant funding secured by Cornell Cooperative Extension, which has provided scores of new trees that have been planted. It's actually hundreds of new trees that have been planted and will continue to be planted throughout our neighborhoods on the southerly end of the town of Oyster Bay.
The town has always put a high priority on protecting and preserving our environment, which is evident in the fact that the town has been designated a Tree City USA for nearly 3 decades now. I'm very, very proud to stand beside the supervisor today as we announce that we will be receiving another 100 trees under this grant program to reforest the areas hardest hit by the Asian longhorn beetle. It is inspiring to see our community battle back stronger than ever before after the devastating infestation 20 years ago. Driving through our town and seeing the tree-lined streets is not only aesthetically pleasing, it is a surefire sign that we're doing everything we can to beautify our communities, enhance our environment for generations to come, all while serving our taxpayers' dollars through programs like this.
Talking to Supervisor Oyster Bay and someone who is again willing to serve in the same position, and the way you articulate, you mentioned about wisdom, and I think there is a sense of intelligence, also skill in terms of how you translate your ideas into not just words but into actions. From that point of view, as you have interacted with Indian American community as supervisor, anything specific? And you also mentioned about diversity, which is backbone of America, the way American spirit we look at. I'm just stretching slightly to refer two points together. One, your experience of having worked with Indian Americans, and of late, after President Trump has taken over, either through media or people's experiences, they feel that probably immigrants are not as welcomed as they were. Your thoughts?
Well, we're making sure that all immigrants are welcome in the town of Oyster Bay. So many good people, especially folks from India, who work hard, own businesses, provide jobs. These are the people that we're so happy to work with. People who work hard at their job, take care of their family. We're a very family-oriented community in the town of Oyster Bay. We want your good families here. We want to break bread with you, to sip tea with you, to listen to your ideas. And the Indian population is the most highly educated populations of any of the populations here that we have here on Long Island. So it's a pleasure to work with the Indian community to provide a very special place at the table in the town of Oyster Bay. This former Superfund site has been the subject of great debate for decades. And thanks to the efforts of our dedicated officials, as well as others on the town board at the time, the Liberty Industrial Finishing Site was remediated to recreational standards a few years ago. What was once a national priority to the Environmental Protection Agency will soon be a community recreation and sports complex for our children and for our residents.
As you are meeting community members with appeal once again to offer you the responsibility to serve them as supervisor, what are the major concerns that you have heard from the citizens at Oyster Bay?
Well, people want their taxes lowered, so we answered the call. We cut taxes $1.3 million. They have said that the building department creates so many problems for people trying to do simple changes to their homes. So we created in our building department same-day permits, so we can move quickly to give somebody the permit the same day they come in. We know that there's a trust situation where we need to build the trust. So we created the ethics board. We created the financial disclosure filings. We have created the inspector general position. We have done the ethics training. We know that people are asking for our parks to be rehabbed so that our bathrooms are brand new. So we set some money aside to redo the bathrooms. And of course, there's the roads. We're very proud of our roads. We have 1,700 lane miles in the town of Oyster Bay, and we have an aggressive approach, an aggressive program to make sure that all of those roads are repaved very quickly.
And something which may concern some of our viewers, when immigrants come to a new place which offers a lot of opportunities, America, the initial period is dedicated to finding their way. And in that process, in some way, do you think some additional steps needs to be taken which may help new immigrants in assimilating here? And then we go to second step where they have settled down. In what way you would like them to participate in making this a great Oyster Bay?
Well, we're in the process of creating committees of diversion, advisory committees to divert the problems and to provide information how we can better serve the very diverse population that we have. So we have the diversity, we have the committees that we're asking people to serve on, we are reaching out to all the communities to listen, And how can we provide more jobs? How can we improve the situation for businesses? How can we lower taxes even more? What programs does the public want us to keep? What programs does the public say, no, we don't need this, we don't want to pay for this? So it's getting smarter about providing government, providing at a lower cost, and being much more efficient. One way we are much more efficient is I got these grants from New York State to replace the light bulbs with very low energy using bulbs that are LED lights. And by changing out just some of the bulbs, we have reduced the electric bill in the town of Oyster Bay by $500,000 a year.
Wow. That's amazing. And you seem to have clarity in terms of how to reduce debt. And people, when they talk about you, remember $85 million debt reduction,
Yes.
how that came about. And is it something that you have learned from your previous experiences before politics?
Yes. Well, before this job, I worked as a New York State Assemblyman, and I sat on the Ways and Means Committee, how we spend the state's money. We had a $10 billion deficit in New York State, and we paid that off right away. So what we did when I came here to the town of Oyster Bay in this February of this year, we realized paying down the debt more quickly was important. This is like when you pay down the debt on your home. You have a mortgage on your home, and you speed up the payments, and then what happens is you get your mortgage paid off sooner, and you spend a lot less in interest payments. So understanding these components of how to run government is what's making our administration very, very successful. And now we have more diversity, and we're looking to hire people from the Indian community to provide jobs. We're looking to create much more in the way of business, so there's more jobs there. And we continue to bring our debt down. In 2017, first 6 months, I paid off $71 million of the debt. It will be $85 million by the end of 2017 and another $50 million for next year. How do you do it? You do it by saving and cutting out wasted money. Stop the waste and put it toward the debt, paying it down more quickly, and that saves a tremendous amount of money, both in the debt that we owe and the interest charges that the banks give us.
Looking at the time constraint, I want you to share with us about your priorities in terms of education and what are the concerns that you hear in the school system and in terms of higher education, anything at Oyster Bay which you would like to happen in near future.
Yes, we'd like to make sure that we continue to have the best education anywhere. And through the education process, we want to keep the traditions alive. So many good families, traditional families, conservative families here. And we understand that tradition is so important, that we continue the programs for senior citizens. We continue the family-oriented programs, programs for children. So one of the things we do is work with the schools to ensure that there is better education. We're also educating people to stay away from heroin and opioids, because that's a danger that comes with modernization in the American communities here. We have continued to teach people about what we're doing to protect and save the town of Oyster Bay. And overall, it's about cutting taxes, getting our building department to be so much more consumer-friendly, ensuring that we have greatly reduced the debt, and making sure that all of our programs run very efficiently. And we're finding $1 million savings here, $1 million savings there. It really adds up.
And as we find more and more people looking at what is happening at White House and the way President Trump is bringing about tax reforms, anywhere you feel that you agree, disagree in terms of the style with which he is playing out his ideas?
In the town of Oyster Bay, we're very focused on embracing our brothers and sisters from all walks of life, especially in the Indian community, South Asian community. That's not always the message the president is getting across. One of the important things in the town of Oyster Bay, we understand that diversity brings the best of the best. We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have educators, we have people from all these important professions, and we will continue to make sure that they have a very big seat at the table. Make sure that you have a very good big seat at the table, and your children have opportunities here in the town of Oyster Bay, and your grandchildren have opportunities here in the town of Oyster Bay. So that's what we're about. I work with my colleagues on the town board, people like Councilman Tom Hand, Councilman Lewin Brodo, Councilwoman Michelle Johnson. So it's Michelle Johnson, Tom Hand, Lewin Brodo, and I'm Joseph Saladino, the town supervisor. And we feel very confident that we'll win because we've put forth the right agenda of the kinds of issues the public is asking us for. And through prayer and introspection, we understand how to do the job properly.
Talking about opportunities and talking about concerns of minority and women business owners, anything special that you may want to share that you have in your mind to address their concerns and to encourage them?
Yes, we're going to be making sure that there's more opportunities for business, women-owned business, all kinds of business owners. We're also working to provide a job fair so people can call the town of Oyster Bay if they're looking for a job, and we can connect them with employers who are looking for their special skill sets. As we continue to move forward, it will be very important to keep taxes down, to keep the town of Oyster Bay very affordable, make sure that education is in good shape, make sure our recreational resources, our parks and other facilities are second to none. So we're so proud of that. We're so proud of the Indian community who has been moving here in droves. It's a very good thing. And under my administration, the Saladino team will be victorious and continue to make the kind of changes that you're asking for. I'm Supervisor Joseph Saladino, and I've greatly enjoyed this opportunity to speak with you and all our good friends, and I thank everyone for listening.
And before I let you go, just one more reference or concern and something which everybody is worried about relates to our counter-terror measures, and unfortunately we have had some tragic thing happened in Manhattan recently. From that point of view, any proactive measures?
We have a public safety department that has been very proactive. We continue to work with the police, looking for people who would cause problems. But generally speaking, the residents in the town of Oyster Bay are very, very safe, are very welcomed and very loved.
And one last thing, encourage them to come out and vote. Sometimes they think that my candidate is going to win even if I don't go to cast my vote.
So Tuesday, November 7th is Election Day, and we'd appreciate it if you'd come out and vote for Jack Martins and Steve Labriola and Maureen O'Connell in the Nassau County politics. And in the town of Oyster Bay, vote for myself, Joseph Saladino, along with my whole team, which is Lewin Brodo, our town councilman, Councilman Tom Hand, town councilwoman Michelle Johnson, and our town clerk, James Altadonna. So this way we can spend the next 10 or 15 years fixing instead of fighting.
Hopefully we will talk to Oyster Bay Supervisor once again in the position after being elected, and it gives me a lot of confidence and conviction that we are moving in the right direction with positive energy flowing from people like him. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed this so much, and thank you for watching.